Jos Buttler's captaincy. He does not have a very good record. I think in 22 matches till now, he has just won 9. So it's a below 50% winning ratio. I think that's the factor that's going to hold England back, and that's a big concern for the team.
Welcome back to OneCricket Unscripted. This is Badal Parikh, and alongside me is Prabudha Bhattacharya, who is a cricket analyst. We are here to analyze the teams because the World Cup is almost here. It has started, by the way, and soon will be getting underway with the Super 12s. So firstly, it's time we break down England, because obviously, they are the close enemies of Australia.
Yes.
They
Closest.
they will be eager to do well in Australia. Winning a World Cup in Australia will mean the world to them. What's your take on the team? What do you like? What do you find intriguing in that setup? What is the most intriguing thing about England, or which player is the most intriguing player?
I would say the England team looks well balanced. If you look at if you take on the paper equations, then it looks balanced. But the most intriguing thing is they have included Alex Hales, a man who is coming back after 3 years into international cricket. His presence is going to be it will give England an edge. And other than that, I would say
You are saying it will give them an edge.
yes.
Isn't he a two-bladed sword that might work for you, might not work for you? Because he has done well in you can say, the leagues across the world.
Yes.
But he has not played international cricket, which you pretty much mentioned.
See, I would mention the fact that since he has not played much in the last 3 years, the teams don't know much about him. Yes, he might have been playing before that, and then they might be bringing in those weaknesses. But recently, what he is doing, I know the analysts will get on with their laptops and all, but recent weakness and how he is playing, that is not known to the teams that much. So I think he might turn out to be the X factor for England.
So you're basically saying Johnny Bairstow's injury has helped England in a way.
A blessing in curse might be.
Might be. Okay, so that is Alex Hales, the most intriguing player according to our analyst. But we have a lot to discuss. Starting off with the fact, I'm very concerned with, will they play Harry Brook over Liam Livingstone, because Livingstone hasn't been a part of the setup for a while. He has been struggling with injury. Brook has done well. People are talking about Harry Brook being the X factor. What's your take on that?
See, if I am present in that think tank of English team, I would go with Liam Livingstone, because he's that player who can come at any stage and turn the complexion of the match.
Yeah,
of course, Harry Brook has tested well, he has done well, but missing out on Liam Livingstone, I don't think that's a good option. And with that, you can also expect a few overs from Livingstone. So
long boundaries, off spinner against a left-hander will be a great idea.
And he can bowl any spin.
Yeah, that is
spin, off spin,
he's
anything.
Kind of like the Sachin Tendulkar we had back in the day.
Yes. He can do anything there with the ball.
Yeah. So bowling is a added advantage when you play Liam Livingstone. See, but is that team a bit of, you can say, a few too many players who are a bit of hit and miss? Apart from Jos Buttler, can you give me a name who will be consistent throughout the tournament?
Yes, of course. I would say that as I have mentioned that Alex Hales might be the X factor, I would more of a say Alex Hales might turn out to be the surprise package, and England's X factor could be David Malan. That person could be the man who could play on consistently throughout the tournament, score important runs at the top order, and give England some solid starts at the beginning.
Yeah, I somewhere agree to your Malan factor, because initially when Malan came into the thick of things, he was more of an aggressor. But now it looks like he is matured into this anchor who can, post Jos Buttler's dismissal, he can anchor things, he can decide the pace of the game.
Yes, he can decide the flow of the game, he can take things slow at the beginning and then go after the bowlers when he is well suited to the condition, when he knows how the ball is behaving on that particular ground, he can take on that.
So your batters who can take England through, the batters that you will rely on, I think it is Jos Buttler and David Malan, according to what you've spoken as far.
Yes, of course.
And the X factors will be Liam Livingstone and Alex Hales.
Yes.
So there's no Harry Brook in the thick of things.
Not according to me.
Eventually, can there be a stage where Harry Brook plays a part against specific teams? Can it be a option?
See, if they go in with Liam Livingstone from the beginning of the tournament and he does well, I don't think Harry Brook will see much of this World Cup.
Okay.
He will be sitting out mostly, according to me.
personally, my opinion is I see if you start with Livingston, you stick with Livingston
Yes, of
throughout
course.
the
That's
tournament.
yes,
Because these kind of blokes who are big hitters, who are match winners, you can't expect them to be consistent throughout the tournament.
exactly.
But on the day when it matters the most, if he goes big, it's game over for the opposition.
Opposition.
The example is pretty much Matthew Wade. He
Yeah.
wasn't working
Yeah.
throughout the tournament. The game against Pakistan,
In
he
the
delivers, and
semi-finals.
post that he has been like the man for Australia.
They have not dared to drop him, I would say.
They
After
can't
that.
dare to drop him
Yes.
because only the last two matches are the matches where he has been involved while chasing a target and they have failed.
Yeah.
Apart from that, previously all the encounters that he was involved in while chasing, they have won. So this is the batting thick of things that you've talked about. Now let's just move our focus to all-rounders. I know you consider Leon Livingston an
All-rounder,
all-rounder.
of course.
Even I do. But I'm a bit concerned about Ben Stokes. Like he hasn't been that big a T20 player in comparison to what he's in an ODI setup or a test setup.
Yes, of course, I agree with you in that point. But given that he has not done well, Ben Stokes, again, I would say Ben Stokes means he is a player of a different pedigree.
Yeah.
If you have seen means memorable Ashes innings, he can change the course of the game from anywhere, any moment.
But those are Ashes games. Those are test matches. The situation is different. He himself is a different person when he plays test cricket.
Yes, but I would like to say one thing. What does this signify? That under pressure, when your back is to the wall, Ben Stokes comes out. Even if you remember, he was not having a good time in the IPL. Everyone was talking about dropping Ben Stokes. He came back and scored a century. So there is a proof that he can play the T20.
And where do you bat Ben Stokes? Because franchises have tried him in different position. England have tried him in different positions. So what's the position Ben
In
Stokes?
this setup, I think he would be a very good player at number 5 or 6. Ben Stokes actually has both the kind of games. He can settle down, he can steady the ship, and he can also go big. So if you have lost 3-4 wickets very quickly, he could be the man who is anchoring the innings. And if you are going well, he could be the man who is taking the attack to the bowling.
And the fact that you have Livingston, Moeen Ali, just gives you an added X factor.
It gives
kind
him
of
a freedom,
Yeah,
more
it
of a
gives-
freedom to
to
Ben
express
Stokes.
himself.
Yes.
So these guys can come up, or these guys can, you can say, play the role of the hitter, and he can be the anchor. And
Yes.
if needed, he can be the hitter. Moeen Ali can be the anchor.
Anchor. The middle order of England looks very dynamic. Means they can just float around players according to the situation of the game.
Will I be wrong if I compare them with CSK? Like they have players who can play in different situations. Yes, obviously not that great a side, because CSK tends to bat at till number 10. They have dynamism, but the middle order somewhere gives me like you can send in Moeen Ali at number 1, you can send Livingston at number 1, you can send Malan, Ben Stokes. They can bat in different positions.
Yes, of course. The two things I would say that England doesn't have that CSK team had, is one thing is that those who batted in that CSK lineup were good enough bowlers also. Like you take Dwayne Bravo, you take Sam Curran, they were enough with the ball. See, here Livingstone is a bits and pieces bowler. He's not your regular bowler will give you 4 overs every day. Or you can say Moeen Ali can get hit on any given day. So this is one thing. And of course, one thing that this England does not have is MSD as a skipper.
Yeah. I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming from the start. Well, I mentioned CSK. Okay. See, MS Dhoni, the fact that you brought in MS Dhoni, now I'll go with what MS Dhoni does. MS Dhoni does is you play him, you give him any bowler, and he'll master the art of death bowling. He'll make sure that the bowler masters the art. He'll basically ask the bowler, this is where you're going to bowl, this is the field that I'm going to give you, and you will deliver. He somehow shows that trust in the bowler, which makes sure that they rise to the occasion. And I've seen multiple Indian bowlers who are nowhere closer to the Indian scene at this point in time, but back in the day, they played for him, for India. So that is what MS Dhoni did. But can Jos Buttler do it to England's bowling unit? Because I think the bowling unit is a big concern.
Bowling unit and especially death bowling. You have only one death over specialist, and that is Chris Jordan, who is going for runs. He might give you 2 or 3 wickets, that every bowler does in the death overs, but he is going for runs. And the second thing is that is the biggest concern. I think that is what might hold England back. It is Jos Buttler's captaincy. He does not have a very good record. I think in 22 matches till now, he has just won 9. So it's a below 50% winning ratio. I think that's the factor that's going to hold England back, and that's a bit concern for the team.
See, I'll be honest, I did not see that coming. I nowhere saw that coming, that you will be questioning Josh Buttler, the skipper, but that is a valid point as far as I can
Yes,
think of it.
you may say, some people may say that he has won the recent series as a captain, but one series does not make you a captain. Over the course of time, you have got 22 to 23 games. You have a percentage of win percentage of only 40 or 41%. That doesn't make you a great leader.
Yeah, and the fact that you are not leading an Afghanistan or a Namibia, no disrespect to any of these nations,
Of course.
but you're not leading a mediocre side. You're
Yes.
leading one of the best sides in
And
the world.
on a team on which there is a lot of expectations from the cricket fans in general,
Yeah.
not a particular section of
A
fans.
star-studded 11.
Yes,
And a star-studded 11 having a 41 win percent is surely raising a few eyebrows. And I'll applaud you for the fact that you brought this up, because I think this is going to be a big concern, and you might see commentators talk a lot about Josh Buttler not delivering as a captain, or the captaincy of Josh Buttler might come into the limelight time and again throughout this World Cup. So apart from this, who is the guy who at this point in time nobody's talking about, but he can deliver and he can decide the World Cup for England if eventually they go on and win it?
okay. So I would like to say your name, and I would take your perspective on him also. Chris Wokes. What do you think of this name?
See, Chris Wokes is. I am not like pretty much sure when I hear the name Chris Wokes as someone like a Mitchell Stark or a Pat Cummins or
Of
a
course not, of course
Josh Hazelwood. But his the lengths that he hits might give him an advantage in Australia. But I guess he hasn't played that many T20 internationals
Only
of
3
late.
to 4 matches this year. That is a concern, but I think that player, since he has not played that many matches, not a lot of people are talking about him. Not a lot of teams are planning around him, I think so. But Chris Wokes with the ball could be the turning point and taking England the distance.
So I guess pretty much we have covered the entire England team. I'll just take your perspective on the spin, because that's the only department we have not covered so far. Adil Rashid, Moeen Ali. What do you expect of this combination? I am not including Livingston. I'll keep him aside,
Yes,
because I know
not a proper bowler.
these two will do the bulk of spin bowling work, and Livingston might add a few overs here and there.
See, Adil Rashid being the leg spin bowler, the wrist spinner, he gets that top spin. He brings in those flippers, a lot of variety. I think he could be very good getting some bounce from those Australian pitches. With Moeen Ali, I would say a 50-50 bowler. Some matches, he might go there, bowl 4 overs, give 14 runs, pick up 2 wickets. Some matches, 4 overs, expect 50 runs from him.
Expect 50 runs from him. So this is all that we have for England. I'll just highlight the key areas that we have touched. Josh Buttler's captaincy might be the major question for England. Alex Hales might be the batting X factor, and Chris Wokes, according to Probuddha and myself, is the bowler that is currently under the radar, but he might surprise one and all. That is it for England. We'll be back again with another video soon.